Well, hello, hello.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm hanging in there. How are you?
I'm fine. Yeah, it is Friday and it is what the new moon in Gemini, right?
Gemini. Yeah.
So, yeah, so be
Tricky Ricky.
tricky energy.
Yeah.
As people are coming into the chat room, I would like to go ahead and take the time to ring the meditation singing bowl to clear space and energies, and then we can get started.
Sounds good.
All right. So, how are you, my dear?
Well, I was just thinking this needs to be a night of fun and laughter and good times.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, is it Chisa?
Yeah, Chisa. Hi, how are you, honey? I haven't seen you on in a long time. Welcome.
Welcome. Nice to have you with us.
Mm-hmm.
This is a fun energy to keep our sense of humor and not get too serious.
Okay, I'm all for that because it's been kind of serious, like
Serious.
this month,
Yeah.
and we don't need to be so serious, and we need to be playful, and yeah. Um, Chisa's like I've been struggling. So Chisa is actually a Leo, by the
I'm a
way.
Leo too, Chisa. So
Yeah, so she's the struggle is real, and I think that we were talking, Sunny and I, before we went live, that I believe that that's the general consensus, but we can find ways to transmute those energies. Okay.
Leos are clowns at heart.
Yeah, I know plenty of Leos.
Yes.
So, yeah, Sunny. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Tell us about what's going on with the energy.
So it's really interesting how things, when you know what planets and signs represent and how they're connecting with each other, how they might manifest. And one of the aspects of this new moon is a square to Neptune. So Gemini rules the shoulder area, lungs, hands, um, and it's ruled by Mercury, which is communication.
Mm-hmm.
And recently I had my haircut person cancel because she had hand, mouth, foot disease, and Pisces rules feet.
Oh my
So
God.
I thought that was so interesting that we're having an aspect between Gemini and Pisces, which is hands, mouth, and feet.
That's like that
Isn't that
school song.
weird?
What is it? Eyes, nose, like shoulders and knees or something like that. Knees and toes. You all know what I'm talking
I'm thinking the chicken song. I don't know. I
about.
don't know. I don't know. But that's a really physical manifestation of planets interacting with each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, we're glad you got here, Brown Skin Ray.
Yeah.
Um, then we're going to have some laughs tonight because Gemini is an air mutable sign. It's very intellectual. It's about disseminating information. It's a very quick energy. Um, I had a pair of Gemini brothers growing up. They were both Gemini, one late May, one early June. And I would say, if there is one way to describe that energy, it's the jack of all trades. It's a very charming energy. They're very adept at doing different things, and they're always trying to stimulate their minds to learn new things. So the new moon over there on the west coast is like at 9:37 p.m. tomorrow for you.
Mhm.
So Saturday evening, and then the wee hours of like midnight Sunday, the wee hours of Sunday for the East Coast. So we're a little ahead of it. And so the new moon and also ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is in Gemini, is making aspects to Venus and Leo. So, it's a sextile, and that's a very easy kind of energy. So, Mercury Venus is, communications of new love or communications about love. Venus in Leo is, very romantic. You might find yourself invited to more social activities over the next week or two. We're coming up on the summer solstice next week, which is very significant change in the energy as well. So it, the moon squaring Neptune could make you feel very disorganized. You might feel like you have a big old mess in your work or your house or in your life. I'm inspired to say once a Buddhist monk said to me when I was bemoaning to him what a mess I was, he said, "A mess is that which is getting ready to get cleaned up." So try not to be too hard on yourself. Try not to judge yourself. This is an energy definitely of letting go of any regrets. Gemini typically in relationship can be very fickle. So I mean, they don't hold grudges. Um, uh, they don't they don't hold on to things. They tend to be more communicative, and this is also a time to be maybe more focused on your community. Um, Definitely with the square to Neptune, because Neptune's all fuzzy minded, right? So
Mhm.
this is where Neptune wants you to feel intuitively, and Gemini wants to, you know, have logic and intellect. So you have logic and intuition kind of at a 90-degree angle. So somewhere in there, we get the opportunity to learn how to pay more attention to our intuition, right? So if you're real dialed into having everything all nice and neat and orderly, this is not the energy to try to get there. And so uh, try to laugh at yourself. Try to look at what you're depressed or upset about from a different angle with a sense of humor. You know, we are all, just trying to do the best we can and survive in some very changing times. And we have to learn to have a little levity, lighten up. Um, there's a great book out there, the liquid, uh, the liquid light of love, but it's all about our light bodies and, ascending to another type of perspective and dimension. We're not just this 3D brick and mortar kind of apparatus. Our spirit travels as we sleep. We, have parallel universes. We have uh, a whole abundance of metaphysical and quantum physics kinds of um, situations going on in our lives simultaneously. So if you're getting really upset about, say, you're trying to organize something or you're trying to order, something you need and you keep hitting a wall, right? Delays in delivery or out of stock or whatever it is, you know, there's a tendency sometimes to get really angry or upset about things, but this is the type of energy where we need to kind of step outside and look at it as well. Maybe we can. Gemini is great at ad libbing, at finding use in things that are used for different things. It's a MacGyver kind of energy. It's the trickster, the storyteller, the witness, so we need to be a witness to our own emotions over things and not get too bogged down in the details right now. Because right now in this energy, the details are very fuzzy and they're still finding their way into reality. So I would say think really positive thoughts about what it is you're trying to manifest or what it is you're trying to work on. And so the mythology of the twins, it's like the two Roman numeral kinds of glyph is the stars. Some people call them planets, but anyway, it was two brothers, Castor and Pollux, in Greek mythology. One was mortal, I believe, Pollux, and Castor was, no, I've got it backwards. Pollux was immortal and Castor was mortal. And they were brothers, born twins of Zeus and Jupiter. And were the gods of horsemanship and athletes and sailors. Sailors would pray to Castor and Pollux for safe travels on the waters. And it's supposed to represent the bonds between brothers that are unbroken even in death. And so Gemini rules siblings. And over the Father's Day weekend, you may have, communications with siblings that are confusing or different somehow than what, like, say, you never speak to a sibling and Father's Day brings you into contact with siblings, or you're really close to a sibling and there's some falling out. Whatever it is, the opposite could happen. And so let's see, Castor gets killed in a battle, and Pollux was so heartbroken over that he prayed to Zeus to please make his brother immortal like him. And so there's a degree of sacrifice in this energy. Pollux sacrificed half of his immortality to give to his brother so his brother too could be immortal. And that's kind of the myth behind the constellation. And I think the myth in archetypes is very important to how we express them in our human day-to-day lives. Sacrifice is a very interesting concept to meditate on. I think that we can all relate to feeling somewhat of a victimhood with sacrifice, right? I think everyone can probably think of multiple times in their life where they sacrificed something they wanted to do, something that someone else wanted them to do. And this, with Neptune in Pisces, which is its home, that's all about sacrifice. So, you might feel like you missed out on something or sacrificed something and missed your chance, or try to transmute any of those feelings of regret or missing out, because you're always right where you're supposed to be, right? We're always right where we're supposed to be, and not always understanding it, but there's usually an opportunity of a lesson. And on that note, the planet Saturn tomorrow on Saturday stations retrograde. And so, that is father time. It's interesting. It's Father's Day weekend. Saturn stations retrograde. And that is the wise old man inside of all of us. And the one that our ego battles, because the wise sage within us might say, soul, you know better than to repeat that negative behavior pattern. But then your ego's like, I want to win. I just want to win. It's that battle between the higher mind and the human, base instinct. So another a feisty kind of conjunction this weekend is Venus and Mars. That's typically men and women romantically, and certainly when they're holding hands in Leo, that's a very romantic, spontaneous, um, really creative kind of energy. If your relationship, say, is in a lull and feels uninspired, this would be that spark that helps you sort of revive, your interest in each other or your fascination. Because I think all of the famous people that have written books about successful relationships will tell you a successful relationship is, feeling fascinated with your partner, feeling inspired, feeling like you're a team, there's a partnership that you're, one for all and all for one. And so often relationships, are born out of some unfinished business from another lifetime and are somewhat, unfulfilling or out of some kind of preconceived duty, because Saturn can be about duty.
Mhm.
And so we've got a lot of changes in the energy too, with the nodal axis is getting ready to move into Aries Libra, which I think we'll see a lot of. This energy helps people from different points of view find a common ground. Uh, you know, a typical example of that would be people with different political views, right? So there is a polarization that's been going on since that Neptune conjunction a few years ago. People have lost relationships over political views. You've seen people rioting in the streets. There's been a lot of upheaval. And we're moving into a time where people sort of come back to their common sense that, it's logical for people to have different attitudes. It's not logical for us to all be somewhat robotic and feel the same way. I don't know. I heard this on the news this morning. I'm not sure if I'm going to get this exactly right, but it gets me to this gist of AI and the technology and how it's come in between people being human with each other and logical. There's been this sort of electronic manipulation in all of our lives, and that's sort of starting to change and morph, hopefully back to that more humanitarian kind of vibe. And but it was a story about, I want to say it was online dating apps that were being talked about, and like people were um to to put it simply, like blowing the robot's mind. Like they were going into conversations that AI did not have. What are
Oh my
you laughing
god. So no, it's because it's like language learning, right? So basically you're teaching the robot, you know, you're feeding it information, and then based off of the data, then the robot would learn how to counter that experience or that form of communication.
Right.
That's messed up, man. I don't know.
It's an interesting time in our lives, because for a long time we've all been somewhat asleep and zombie like The Walking Dead. That series was not too far off from
Reality.
society.
Yeah.
And whether you want to say it is spiritual awakening, or if you're more scientific about the planetary shifts and movements over the last 3 years, people are becoming more awake to what they eat, where their kids go to school, what what relationships they want, what work they want to do. People are not just blindly, you know, walking through life dead, without emotion. And that's how robots come to be, is they are unemotional and will do repetitive tasks in factories and, different modems that at some point, our society has made us all very lazy, actually, right? And so there's a lot of change coming to inspire people to want to be all they can be and be more, and not just, you know march in place and take whatever comes. It's an exciting time in terms of technology. And, there's this whole debate about the morals of artificial intelligence and how far, what was that big CEO who stepped down from a big AI company because, he doesn't think it should go any further.
Right.
And so we're all, that's what Gemini is. It's very changeable. And if you have a Gemini friend or people, I mean, they can change on a dime. They can be going in one direction and all of a sudden get a hankering to want to go in another direction. They're generally very buoyant and fun people to be around because of that spontaneity. If you're real dialed in to having to have everything in order and planned and all the details, that's going to be difficult.
Yeah, I don't think you guys are compatible.
Yeah, yeah. And we were talking before we came on about how, Pluto's touching back into the final degree of Capricorn, the way it was at the end of the year. So you might be readdressing things that you were addressing at the end of the year.
Mm.
So yeah, this is a time when, like, there's a victimhood that's been sort of a cloud over this world for a while. And to me, victimhood and sacrifices kind of go hand in hand. Like, people will feel, well, I sacrificed this, and couldn't have that. There's some feeling of lack. And this energy is about letting all of that go, letting go of any regrets of decisions you've made in the past. And, um, you know, feeling like ready for learning something new. Gemini is the intellect. So if you can't really get it together with things like in your immediate surroundings, or what you're typically used to doing as a routine, this would be a really good time to take up a musical instrument. Do something creative that challenges your intellect. There was a study years ago of Catholic nuns, and why is it that they live to be 100 years old and older, and they make themselves learn something new all the time. And at the time of the report, they were learning how to play the harp. And evidently harps are an extremely complex instrument to learn how to play. So I'm not saying go out and take harp lessons, but certainly, if there's been something recreational that you've been putting off because you've been working too hard, or, doing your routine, this is the time to even take a baby step of taking one class. It doesn't have to be a commitment to a whole series of classes, but do something that stimulates your intellect, and that will take your mind off of that feeling like you sacrificed and you're some kind of victim of a sacrifice. On kind of a dark note,
Okay.
I think that more and more will come out about, human sacrifices, like satanic cultures, and, cultures who actually do blood sacrifices. So, there's always the opposite of the light is the dark. And so with this chatty, buoyant, chaotic kind of energy comes um, the con man, because Gemini can be the trickster. There was a news report about a woman who sent a man. This had to do with online dating, and maybe I'm talking about online dating a lot because of this Mercury Venus conjunction and Mars Venus conjunction, that people are looking to hook up or find their partner or start something with somebody. And the online dating app was I don't remember which one it was called, but this woman, I don't know what it is with someone who would do this, but she never met him. It was completely online relationship, and she ends up sending him like $30,000, and it was all a big scam.
Yeah.
You
There's
know,
a lot of that going on.
there is, and that's very Gemini. You know, so that's where intuition comes in and discernment, and where intellect wants to be very logical. Our intuition and instincts are very important to develop and honor, because sometimes that's the only thing you have to go on when, you know, someone's presenting something to you that's too good to be true. It probably is, and there's always, the opposite of whatever. Like, say, an example might be you get made a job offer that's your dream job, good pay, nice people. You just think this job was written in the stars for you, and the sacrifice is you have to move across the country.
Mhm.
So that's what I mean about, you know, that is our life. That is quantum physics. There is always a balance of um, the good with the bad. And that's where using our intuition to make these decisions about, um, what does your gut say about that offer? Uh, this whole thing about online dating apps has been in the news a lot. And, the thing is, people can be anybody they want to be online, and there's been some different law enforcement classes in my area about, how to not be taken advantage of by scams. So you might be seeing more of that. And I'm trying to see. So with new moons, set your intentions for new projects, and say, um, you haven't been happy with your diet routine or exercise routine. This is the time when you set an intention to, do better or change it. Or with Gemini, writing, anything mercurial, the writing and communicating is very important to setting that intention. So over the weekend, to meditate and write down in great detail, what is your heart's desire? If you could manifest whatever it is, whether it's the relationship or the job or the family situation or the financial situation, whatever it is for you, the more detail, because that's what Gemini is all about the details. And sometimes Gemini can get so focused on the details, they sort of flush straight out. You know what I mean? Like, there's a fine line there too. So I think one of the main messages about this new moon and the square to Neptune is we all need to really be honoring our intuition. And if something's presented to you, whatever arena it is in your life, if you get, like a hesitation, if that small voice in you is like, I don't think so. That's what we need to all learn to follow, is that first voice. We tend to get very chatty in our head, which is very Gemini, very
Mhm.
chatty, and lots of voices saying, but we could do this and we could do that and we could do this and then maybe that and then that. And we get all like confused.
Mhm. Mhm.
But if we'll just go back to a quiet space to what was the first voice? And sometimes that first voice is scary as all get out, right? Your first voice is saying something is like the last thing. It's like, say your first voice is asking your boss for a raise or something like that, and it's like you just don't really want to do that. And you're trying to find all these other ways that you could earn extra income or, sell something when all you got to do is face that fear of, authority figure, which Pluto backing up into Capricorn makes us deal with authority within ourselves, authority figures outside of ourselves. So, a lot of the lesson of Pluto and Capricorn over the last few years is finding our own sense of authority, our own sense of worthiness, that you are worthy of that raise, and you have value. So, I know we didn't want to get too deep about, spiritual things, but that would be the bucket that it would fall in, is doing things to lift your self-esteem, get rid of any kind of lack mentality, think positive of yourself and others. The whole thing about forgiveness and in the twin flame journey, that's a whole big, opportunity to learn how to forgive because someone's, not been good to you, and on many instances been really horrible. So the forgiveness is for yourself. I mean, you have to forgive them or it just, eats something up in inside yourself. So um, there was a metaphor that I think it keeps coming to my brain, so I've got to get it out here. I'm not sure what culture this derives from, but it's the story of a man who was a farmer, and he was like stacking all of his hay and straw and getting himself organized. And when he goes, into his home for the end of the day of work, he realizes that he's lost his watch. And it was a very special watch that had been in his family for a generation. And he was very distraught. And he saw some school kids coming down the road, and he went out. He said, "Hey, I'll pay you a few dollars if you can find my watch. I've lost it, in that, what are those things, silo of hay, where there's bales of hay or straw."
Mhm.
And so these kids go in there and they look and they look and they look and they come out and they're like, "I can't find it." And they went on down the road, and one stayed behind and came to the man and said, um, "Would you give me one more try? I'd like to try to look for it again." And so the little boy goes into the silo by himself and comes out with a watch. And the old man's like, "How did you do that? How did you find it? Where was it?" And the little boy said, "Well, I just went in there and I got really quiet with myself. And I just got, so I couldn't, I calmed my mind and I was just listening to the stillness." And he heard the ticking. And that's how it led it to him. I think the metaphor in that is this
Uh,
energy is so whack, right? It's so
mhm.
whack. I can give you a lot of examples of how screwy it can be, but I think everybody's probably experiencing it in their own piece of the world. But I think that's a really good piece of wisdom, is that we need to just be very quiet with ourselves and listen. And Gemini tends to be very chatty.
Mhm.
My brothers, they could talk to anybody about anything. They could go up to a stranger and start talking. You'd think they'd known them all their life.
Mhm.
So it can be a very distracting, nonsensical um, chattiness. And really, I think with it squaring Neptune and Saturn stationing to go retrograde, and the connections between the personal planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, we really need to just be quiet, uh, and really think before we speak, because this would be an energy to easily, pipe off and say something you would regret.
Mm-hmm.
And so your body and your electromagnetic energy surrounding your body may feel very jittery and very like, I got to do something and I'm bored. I got to go. I got to go. That's very Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
And the balance of that would be to at least every day spend 5 minutes still doing nothing. Just listen to the silence, see what voice comes to you. If there's something specific that you're trying to manifest or a problem you're trying to work out, it's in that silence that allow your higher self to speak to you. Sometimes we just get in our own way.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, actually, I just did a hypnotherapy session a few days ago. And basically, what my spirit guide was mentioning is that, and they keep telling me this, and I know I should be doing it, but it's to do the meditation. Like everything that I need to know comes from within myself. I just need to do more meditation. And it's true because for me being a Buddhist, and I do like meditation, my meditation hasn't been that great lately. I just like do it. I get distracted. I'm not spending enough time doing like real proper meditation. And if I had like maybe 15 minutes or even 30 minutes to do it, that would be better. But to be honest, I meditate maybe 5 to 10 minutes tops, and it's not that great. So, in order to do like proper meditation, especially if you're brand new at it, you have to be patient with yourself, and you have to like kind of let your ego go and like, am I doing it right, or
Yeah.
like, am I breathing okay, like,
Yeah.
like, and then just like overactive mind, like monkey mind, like
Yeah.
just let that go. Basically, if you can just zen out and just focus on your breath, you'll start to get weirded out and you're like, wow, this is so trippy,
Yeah.
like it's so quiet and this is not cool. I hear my heartbeat and the breath that's coming out of your mouth, and then you start to be more aware.
It's so healthy too.
Yeah, it is, because a lot of times we're on go go go, like, well, I have X, Y, and Z, today's that day, and then it's like that every day. So when do you have time for yourself to sit still and do the meditative work? Because that's really
Right.
for you. That's not really for anybody else. I mean, you could help others, but you
Their
can't really
time.
help others unless you help you. So, but yeah, it's that because I've been feeling like this chaotic Gemini energy. And so the way that I've been trying to utilize this is there's a program called Notion, and I don't know if you're familiar with that. But basically, you go to notion.so, and basically, it's like a project management tool, or you could do it for yourself. Like you can journal, you could write notes, because I'm a list taker, and
Yeah.
sometimes I run out of paper and I
No,
just,
Virgo, you don't keep lists of this.
and so I need some digital paper, right? Like,
Yeah.
so I have to write my list somewhere. So because my mind is always like, constantly thinking, and if I don't write it down, then I lost like a great idea. At least that's how my mind, thinks. And so, yeah, I've been doing that. And then I looked at my list today. There was a big long list of stuff to do. So before I went live, I just picked one task on that list, and it was actually sitting still doing research. So it wasn't about doing blah blah blah, like I had to do this, this, and this. It was actually sitting still and just like observing.
Right.
Which I feel like was actually a good thing, because I could have been doing that, and it wouldn't have like been like a productive thing, but if I sat still and really rethink, like like, okay, maybe I should take a step back and look at what I'm looking at, maybe I'm missing something. And so I really felt that just sitting still, doing research was the way to go. And yeah, it was nice, and I got some stuff done before I came on, so it was nice. So yeah,
I
that's
think that's really a wonderful way to utilize the next few days. Certainly, whenever an outer planet, and it happens every summer, so it's not anything new, but when an outer planet stations to be retrograde, it does kind of bring a lazy streak to our energy. Like you
yeah. I'm
want to
not
slow
gonna
down.
lie, like I want to do so much. I feel like I can't. I was like, you know what? Maybe I just should sit down on the couch, and that's what I did. I sat on the couch. I was like, I'm tired. I'm tired, and I was like, I need tea. So I went to go, make some tea, right? And then I was like, okay, I need to get back on the computer. So I was like, fighting myself, like, okay, I need to keep it going, But yeah, so I did get some stuff done, but it was a balance. I did sit on the couch.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I needed to sit on the couch because, like, I'm always constantly, like you said earlier, like having to do stuff, but I figured, like, if you're in that monkey mind where you're like, bouncing
All
off,
over the place.
like being all over, you're not going to get shit done, you
It's
know?
that quantum physics theory of the more you slow down, the more time you have.
You know what? I think that's excellent.
And I was on the road last week, and my dogs were in a kennel, and they had this big sign, um, you know, pick up 6 p.m., no exceptions, and, big blaring sign. And
Mhm.
there was no way I was going to get there in time. I got lost. I got hung up in traffic. There was construction. There was a rainstorm. It was like the universe was just keeping me from getting down the road. I felt like I was just stalled in some kind
Mhm.
of vortex,
Like it was a dream, but it's happening in
No,
real
it's
life.
like I'm trying to get forward and and so I just started kind of trying to, I don't know if you want to call it an affirmation or just a thought, but I was like, I am stepping out of the timeline. I'm not going to be driven by this clock here that I'm looking at, feeling, all exasperated. I'm
Mhm.
stepping out of the timeline. Everything will be fine.
Mhm.
Because I was worried with that sign blaring that they wouldn't give me my dogs and I'd have to pay for another night for them to stay.
Mhm.
And so I got there late, and they, everything worked out, but it was this real mind battle. You talk about that monkey mind, and it was a real battle to like breathe, because at one point I was really feeling panicked. I got lost, and I was going in the wrong direction, and I was in an area I didn't know, and that's another very
GPS wasn't working. You're like,
yeah, that's another very Gemini thing is, what's that saying? All that are lost are just wandering, or something about it's okay to get lost, right?
mhm.
You're not really lost.
Wanderlust.
Yeah, you're just seeing new places you've never seen before, or something, or I don't know, or revisiting some place you were in another time. But I just started like sort of this chant in my mind about step out of the timeline, step out of the timeline. You're not in the matrix. You're not in the 3D, think multi-dimensionally. You will get there just in time. Everything is fine. And that's sort of self prayer or self calming, because Gemini does rule the nervous system. So
Mhm.
you will feel more nervous. You might, feel nerves in your stomach. Um, some people manifest nervousness through headaches. Everybody's a little different.
Mhm.
And so, stress and tension are supposed to be like, reminding us of our awakening, right? When we're feeling stress or distressed, our solar plexus is being activated. And that's where, awakening resides. And, a really good anecdote is just humor, just having a good laugh. I know a long time ago, a group of us used to do a laughter meditation where
Mhm.
instead of sitting there and oming, you would just sit there and make yourself laugh. And with every breath, try to go deeper and deeper into your lungs and your solar plexus to have really authentic, deep, rolling laughter and nothing.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's an exercise in, getting your nervous system to shake off whatever that tension is, and get outside of that monkey mind and 3D mind and ego and, um, you know, um, things like transformation. And I think everyone here can probably pick a point in their past where they look at where they are now and there's been some kind of transformation for them.
Mhm.
So honoring how far you've come, and you might feel like something's missing in your life, but yet it's not missing if it's not healthy for you, right? That's what a spiritual journey is about, is recognizing healthy energy and putting yourself only in good light. So that can mean sacrificing, right, relationships with family or friends out of you know some 3D social moray about loyalty. This energy also will make you think about loyalties. Is loyalty to someone who uses and abuses you um, a transformation? Is it, doesn't that sort of keep you stuck when you're allowing your boundaries to be dishonored? Um, I think everyone knows me well enough to know I do real estate work in a legal field. And today I was working on a project, and from the late 60s to now, this piece of property has been conveyed with different amounts of acreage, anywhere from 4.5 acres to 8 acres, between like four um, transfers in, what is that, 40, what is that, 40, 60 years or whatever. And
Mhm.
so, that's a problem because you can't find the boundaries. There's been boundary lines vacated. It's so Gemini, right? It's just this very fuzzy blob of land out there that has no definition.
Uh-huh.
And that's kind of where we are, is we're just sort of a blob of light with no definition. And so,
I don't want to interrupt, but I
no,
wanted to
please.
talk about this. But I was visited by some Mormon girls recently. I guess they're also known as the Church of Latter-day Saints,
Oh,
or
okay.
I don't know. Yeah, something like that. So, they were called sisters, which I thought was cute, and they're telling me that, like, what was their mission. It's like, well, our mission currently is to raise enough money so that we could buy land, you know and I was like, oh, so the Mormons have like a plan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're on a mission to purchase more land. I was like, okay. And it was kind of ironic because they have a new girl, sister Zen, I don't know. It was a Z. And I said, oh, that's a very interesting name. And I said, well, what is that? She says, Ukraine. I was like, oh, I said, wow. I said, well, how long ago have you been in the United States? She was like, 4 months ago. I was like, wow, that's actually, and her English was really good. I was like really
Interesting.
impressed. Yeah. But the interesting part was that they were telling me that one of their current missions was to obtain land.
Let's think about that, because I just read an article about a animal rescue foundation looking for land to buy to have an animal sanctuary.
Mm-hmm.
And um, it was a really, you know, this is a good lesson for us all, because actually this lady is in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
And it's called the Mona Pants Foundation. If anybody wants to look it up, they rescue dogs right now primarily, but her mission is to have a senior animal sanctuary where
Oh.
seniors that have, lost their owners or been abandoned have a place to come and live out their life in peace. And
Mhm.
she was talking about, and this is so interesting the more I think about it and what you just said, the universe presented to her an opportunity of like an old facility that was kennels and dog grooming. And it had the right zoning, it was within their budget, but it was not her vision.
Mhm.
And so she, in this article, posted her vision, and it's of like meadow and fields and, a sanctuary.
Mhm.
And her
Mhm.
feeling was that, a kennel and these dog kenneling facilities, and where an animal would just stay cooped up, is not a sanctuary.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so, where a few days ago, I get these little posts where what's going on with the Mona Pants Foundation and her finding this land. And a few days ago, she was excited because she had found this piece and looking at it. And then today she was like, but you know what? That's not my vision. And I think that's where we all really get down to the details of your heart's deepest desire and manifestation is, don't just take what comes because it comes. If it's not your vision, if it's not what you visualize, that's our test, I think. I think the Gemini card in Tarot is the Fool. Could be
Mhm.
wrong, but I think that's one of them it can represent. And that's that faith to walk off the cliff, right? Or the Pied Piper that walks off the cliff and all. And
Mhm.
and but it's sort of a fool, because a lot of very 3D people that only process logic would never understand that passing up that because it didn't fit my vision. A lot of people would judge that as, well, your vision is unrealistic. But in these energies, and I always think of those wise people in the white robes somewhere in another dimension. Um,
Mhm.
you know, we are transcending to a multi universe and becoming more like the Atlanteans and Lemurians, who did use their mind to transport their bodies. You
Mhm.
sent me that band you were going to want to go see or whatever, and I was like, I'll learn how to transport my body and I'll come see them with you.
Yeah. Come on, let's do it.
Because that is the energy we're in, is letting go of this heavy, dense, uh, patriarchal kind of um, oppression, to that Aquarian, enlightening, spiritual, anything's possible, you know, remote viewing, psychic faculty,
Mhm.
which,
Mhm.
as Pisces as Neptune is in Pisces, its home, those concepts are very powerful right now, to um, um, practice your psychic ability just like you would a muscle. Um, you hear your phone before you look at caller ID or whatever, just in your mind. Who do you think that is? You're pumping your gas and you're watching numbers, and just in your mind, what are the numbers that come up? See if you land on them.
Mhm.
Things, that practice exercising that, sort of fuzzy ethereal piece of our brain we don't understand. That's really important for us to all be doing. And so some of the foods or things we can do to relieve stress and tension are celery, spearmint, chamomile, peppermint, rosemary, bee pollen, red clover, um, vervain, and of course, exercise and meditation. So, at one of the local farmers markets here, there's a beekeeper who sells his bee pollen, and it's a grain.
Mhm.
It's like a little,
Yeah,
and
like a little nugget, like nuggets and stuff.
yeah, and you just take like a teaspoon of it straight in
Mhm.
your mouth, and it's good for a lot of things. So I think along with this transmuting of heavy energy into a more um, quantum physic kind of reality comes what are we putting in our body, just right down to the water and the foods and medicines, or you know um, it's just more sensitive now, right? We're not walking dead and just going to take um,
Anything.
what somebody tells us to.
Right. Now, recently, I actually threw out my Morton salt. Just saying. Because, like, I've come across, like, so much now about, like, what salts are really actually good for you. And
Right.
so I heard about Redmond salt and, Himalayan salt and
The
also
pink
Celtic salt.
Himalayan. Yeah.
Yeah, the pink Himalayan salt. So, there was a lady who, actually did some studies on the different salts, and
Yeah.
it looks like the Redmond salt and the pink Himalayan salts are the, ones that have, like 60 to 80 trace minerals that are actually really good for you.
Right.
So ever since I saw that, I was like, "Man, the heck with this table salt crap,"
Yeah.
because you never know. Like, we put salt in everything, but you don't know if it has, like, microplastics in it and stuff, and so,
Right.
yeah, I am actually more mindful, even more, like, even if it costs a little bit more, I don't care. I go for that stuff. Like, I'll just have to get it at a smaller increment, because I don't
Right.
wanna try that, the garbage that they're, making, it easily accessible and stuff. So yeah.
So with Gemini, it rules the lungs,
Mhm.
which can have discomforts like bronchitis or asthma. And
Mhm.
that is an emotional manifestation of repressed crying, like
Oh.
uh, holding in your fear and the
Mhm.
fear of living fully. Uh, it seems to me like asthma has really started to affect more people, or I don't know if it's because of media, we hear more about it, but if you've had any kind of bronchial or lung conditions, under this new moon might be a good time to just have a good cry.
Mhm.
Write down what it is you fear, try to transmute that fear into um, an opportunity to grow,
Mhm.
or looking at it from the witness, the different perspective. Some of the herbs that help conditions like asthma or bronchitis are thyme, horehound, and eucalyptus. So, um, I believe that, and then Gemini also represents the shoulders. Shoulder pain can be that feeling of you're carrying too many burdens. So, again, writing down what is it that you're carrying on your shoulders that you can offlift. Some of that might be learning how to give up control and delegate to others to help you. Because a whole lesson in this life is about receiving help from others. We don't have to be the, Venus, Mars warrior all the time that can do everything and be everything and don't need any help. And that for a lot of us in the metaphysical community, I think that is one of our big lessons, is to learn to let people help us, because we're so geared to wanting to be there to help others. We
Mhm.
forget about, allowing people in to help us. And a lot of that comes from, like the trauma of all the times people have let you down, so that's yet another layer of emotions to try and let go of, and, uh, deal with. So shoulder pain, carrying burdens. There's an herb, comfrey. You probably see it growing. Look, you think it's a weed, but it's actually comfrey. I should bring some of this in one night to show you what to look for, because a lot of it grows wild. Um, Moist heat with like castor oil compresses. I think we talk about castor oil last time. Um,
Um,
or I know I was talking to somebody recently about, something as simple as castor oil has a lot of healing properties in it. Um,
like
and
ingesting it or like putting it.
both, yeah. Now, a castor oil compress is taking like a flannel rag
Mm,
and moistening it with castor oil, and
mhm.
you can put it, like, you can wrap it in like parchment, or if you have a thing against plastic, parchment or something that kind of protects the oil from getting on
Over.
your microwave, because you're going to kind of zap it in the microwave to get it heated.
Mhm.
And of course, when we didn't have microwaves, we would have put it on a wood stove, in some kind of
Pot.
vessel to kind of heat up. But so
Mhm.
a heated castor oil compress on the pain. And the oil has something to do with, it penetrates the skin and gets into where all those ligaments and vessels are for circulation. Because pain in a joint like that is usually the lack of blood and oxygen circulating properly.
Mhm.
So, and if you don't have the castor oil, just moist heat helps with that. So, um, in my older years, I live with a heating pad. I swear, I'm always putting, even in the dead of summer, I've had a lot of back injuries in my life. And,
Mhm.
I can do, minor housework or yard work, and I'm going to be on a heating pad
Mhm. Mhm.
and it goes away. So it's not anything permanent, but I think a lot of that does come from feeling that heaviness of burdens or responsibilities, and that's just part of the part of my gig here too. So, we're all working on our individual past life karma that we've brought forward. And Gemini is an opportunity to be excited about that. Be excited about unloading your burdens. Be excited about finally feeling a true to God forgiveness for anything and everything you've ever regretted. Or it's a challenge, because some of these decisions we've made in the past had permanent, um, made us go down a different road in our life. And so it can be quite um, a deep change, in our psyche, when we decide that, that doesn't, that breaks my boundaries. Or, boundaries is another big part of this energy, like standing up for yourself. Um, Relationships are so much about boundaries, right? Like, you can have the wall of China surrounding your heart, and you're never going to let anybody in, right?
Mhm.
Or you can have, uh, the next vision I have is like a moat, like there's a moat around your heart with a drawbridge that only comes down with the secret incantation, you know, let
Yeah.
somebody across the moat. So, yeah. And then there's people that have the opposite issue of no discernment at all, and they just kind of jump at anything. So there's varying degrees of boundaries. And, I think part of the soul's journey here, and certainly in a Gemini, uh, Pisces kind of energy, we're going to be challenged to find our boundaries and to keep them.
Mhm.
And, with Saturn going retrograde, it's like I we get opportunities to repeat things, or the people are different, but the same situation repeats, and it's sort of that opportunity of, did we learn our lesson? Would we make the same decision again? Everybody's going to have a different scenario for that, but it really is about, uh, I had a girlfriend that, well, actually, one of my Gemini brothers too. They only dated married people. And um, my brother would tell you, because you'd say, well, Rob, don't you want to get married and settle down? No, all my friends got married and got divorced. Not interested.
Mhm.
And he would only go out with married women. And I had a woman friend who was married who constantly had affairs on her husband. And so those are patterns that you would want to transcend from, right?
Mhm.
And that's what Saturn might do, is set you up in the same scenario that makes you repeat a pattern. And I guess there's no right or wrong answer. You can certainly repeat that pattern as much as you want to, but in, you know, the world of spirituality and awakening, it's about ascending from negative behavior patterns and not repeating the patterns and reaching for the different pattern that we haven't done before,
Right.
because it inspires fear, right? And it's about facing our fears and, moving forward. And the other thing about this energy, and then we can do the cards if you'd like, is don't stop moving. This is an energy where, of course, the periods of short meditation are needed, but in general, this is a very active kind of energy to, get out there and walk or dance or run, or be with friends, or clean your house, or weed your garden. It's a good time to feel like you could get things done.
No, I agree. So, going back to what you were saying about, like, how you had the moat around your heart and not like letting anyone in. Well, just recently, a couple days ago, I did a hypno therapy session with a friend of mine. And the thing that we focused on was that, as females, why are we so blocked and guarded? And so, I went under, and what I found was that so it had something to do with the mind. Okay, so the mind is very masculine, and it's always thinking rather than feeling. And I really feel like the feminine within us has a problem with feeling because we're always thinking. So, so what I saw was that, we need to be able to let go of whatever is in our thoughts and put it into our heart. And I was able to transmute that energy by, um, like observing it, taking it outside, observing it outside of myself, and then putting the positive aspect of me opening up myself back into my body. And so it was actually a really good exercise. Um, and also, I was channeling my friend, and there were some associations with her that I saw where. For her block was that when she was a little girl, she was a very observant person, And as she was looking at people, that's why she was so blocked up, because she saw like her, maybe her family experiences, or like similar to your brother, like the reason why he doesn't, date other single people is because, they never really work out. So he goes for the married types, right? So it's that thought. And so if we quiet our mind, like you said earlier, when we quiet our mind and actually make an observation and really see the answers that come from within, and this is really done through hypnotherapy, because I can tell you what, like when we go under hypnosis, we actually like slow down so much so that we can see so much clearer, that we can actually address those issues and change what we know now because we weren't really aware, and then apply it in our consciousness. And so it was really interesting because both her and I, we had like very similar energies, but it was very different. um and so we were able to change that. So it was like a practice to see, like, how can we as feminines be more feminine rather than acting in our masculinity,
Yeah.
because of that, it's blocking us from attracting masculine energy towards us. And that's why, it's like, well, how come, we're not attracting the right types and blah blah blah. Well, it's because of that energetic that we're unaware of. And so yeah, I just wanted to share that because I just did a practice of that recently.
That's awesome. That's
Hmm.
awesome. And I don't know the TikTok account, but it's these little short videos about that same kind of, um, there's a lot of strong, independent single women about, you know,
Hmm.
and it was a guy talking about, you know, like he gives messages to men about how to be there for a strong, independent woman. And one of the things he said, and I'm thinking of as you're talking, is, when women have had to pay their own bills for a long time, it becomes kind of unnecessary to need a man around. I mean, it's like if you've been independent and done for yourself for so long, why do you need someone to come and just, mess with your head and your heart and not be loyal or not be true or not be, you know, courteous, basic, just basic, polite behaviors. So it's um it's very interesting. And on the flip side of that, where men have become more feminine,
Hmm.
through a series of generations and taught to, you know, uh, get in touch with their feelings and
Yeah, that's why there's a lot of, I don't know, like a lot of crossing of energies these days,
yeah,
Like people, they don't know what they are, what they believe in
what
it.
they want, and they just kind of want attention. Hey, Shubaka, I want to see pictures of you in the bikini offering free car washes. And
Oh, okay, I see her. Oh, hi, Shabaka. Let's
kisses
see.
back to you.
Sorry, F1
Hi,
weekend.
JK.
I'm about crazy, beautiful cars everywhere. Should be in a bikini offering free car wash.
I know. I'll give you $20 to do it.
Well, for F1, no, the bikini would not work. You would need to be like in the pit so that you could change out the tires and stuff,
Yeah.
because that's as much as action you can get from one of those.
My brother's birthday was recently, and then this weekend is the anniversary of his death, and he loved Formula One. And it was the weirdest thing on his birthday. I don't know. I caught myself sitting watching the Indy 500 and Formula One racing over in France. And I'm sitting there going, I never watched this. I have never had any, I remember him watching it all the time. And it just felt like his spirit was near. And it made me sit still.
Mhm, mhm.
I just checked out from all those burdens and responsibilities. and sat and watched these fast cars go in circles.
I really do believe that when people cross over, the energy is still with, like,
Yeah.
amongst us, and so, when there's, like, a connection, with your brother in that opportune time, he'll come in, and
Well, he took over because I was sitting there lazy
he
and
was enjoying himself using you, like, "Let me
this is
watch
just
this,
more fun
on
than
TV, enjoy
something
myself."
else. Well, how about we pull some cards?
Yeah. So, going back to Shabaka, you're not a shitty moderator. Don't
Never.
worry.
Yeah.
If you can't make it, that's okay. We can get another one, like maybe JK. I see that she's in here. If so you don't have to feel like you're burdened, honey, to
Right. Right.
do lives all the time.
So, in honor of fun, uplifting Gemini, I pulled out the cue cards, which are just
Okay.
fun, uplifting, nonsensical, crazy cards.
And I have pulled out the affirmators for love and relationships. So, to help ourselves.
Yeah.
So, we're going to start off with Aries and see what's going on for Aries for this new moon.
Should be pretty active. That's fire and air feed each other. So,
Yeah, I feel like Aries should be okay, but when I did the reading, I don't remember the energy, but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And I have here depth. So I guess it says, as new people show up in my life, I look for all the weird, wonderful, complex layers below their surface. I can't be surprised by someone's depth of character unless I am willing to peel back the layers and go a little deeper. It's like the brand new saying goes, don't judge an onion by its haircut.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, if you want to go deep, Aries, okay, know what you're getting into. But, hey, if you're yeah, you could, hey, to each his own, right?
Right. Righto.
Yeah, you're the Gemini, so you can choose to go deep or not. This choice is yours.
I would go have some fun, like hiking. Aries, they're the pioneers.
Mm-hmm.
Do something really physical and active and fun.
Yeah, if you're thinking about traveling, just go for it. Don't think too much
Yeah.
and enjoy yourself.
So Taurus, been moving out of a lot of heavy Taurian energy over the last few weeks, and I think that kind of gives them some reprieve. They've
Mm-hmm.
had some pretty heavy hitting. They still have Uranus in Taurus, which is still pretty intense. I think I'm saying that right. Or did Uranus finally? Let's see. What's in Taurus still? So it'd be nice if I could see.
Well, I can't see over here from over here.
Oh dear, I swear it's such light print on the ink. Um, Aries. So we have, yeah, I was right. Uranus is still in Taurus. So, that's giving Taurus a kind of uncomfortable. Taurus doesn't like to do anything too fast, and Uranus wants to go fast.
Hmm.
So,
So it's like get your butt in gear, like get off the couch. Taurus, it's time to
yeah,
do
and
something.
it's an exasperated kind of energy.
Yeah, Taurus, it'll be okay. I mean, like, cause when I channeled all my Earth signs, they had all very similar energies, but it was good because yeah, I mean, I don't
This
know, what
is
do you have? Win win.
win-win.
And then I also have here, let's see here if I can get it to focus. It says ownership.
Ownership.
Yeah, hold on. Let me read it. It says, I take ownership for how I make others feel and do my part to repair any bridges I might have burned or perhaps even lightly singed. If bridge mending feels impossible, then I can start small. Instead of becoming a bridge architect, maybe I'll just skip the bridge and walk the long way around. Taking ownership is great for burning calories.
I like that.
So it's a win-win situation. Like whatever you do, you gotta own it, Taurus. And even if you have to go the long way, you're gonna get it done. Just just get out there and just put one foot in front of the other, and you're gonna be burning those calories, so it'll be all right. It's from all the chocolates and
All
stuff
the
they give
fine
you.
food and wine that they like to indulge in.
Yeah, all that wine.
Bacchus wasn't Bacchus the Taurian god of wine?
Oh, I didn't know that. I know that in Korea there's a drink called Bacchus, but it's not.
Oh,
Yeah, it's an energy drink though.
oh,
Yeah,
the
that's weird.
bull.
Yeah, that's weird. I didn't know that. So next we have Gemini.
Oh, Gemini should be really like the movers and the shakers under this new moon and meeting new people. And I don't know. I got this could be bad.
Oh crap, Gemini. Well, don't drink.
So use discernment and your intuition. Don't just go with the offer because it's offered.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I have here thoughtfulness, and it says it's time to put your money where your mouth is and have fun showing your love. Think of all the little things you can do to show a person you love them. Then stop thinking of those things and actually do them. Is it time to hide a note in someone's pocket, make them a snack, order them a book? Anything thoughtful can be an act of love, even taking the trash out to the dumpster, unless you're dating the trash, in which case, don't take it to the dumpster, take it somewhere fancy. Wow, who would have thought that being so full of thoughts could be considered thoughtful? That's so funny.
That's so funny. It's so Gemini too, because they're always full of thoughts.
And it could be bad, but it could be so good. But you have to really be nice. Okay. Like,
Yeah,
just think it through. But whatever you do, do it.
yeah, yeah.
Even if,
Interesting energy, you know. It feels like, you unload everything in your closets and drawers into a big pile in the middle of the room and then just start trying to sort through it all.
yeah, I saw that. Like, there's this lady, she was doing a blog on YouTube and she was in Thailand and everything there was like $5. And it's like an outdoor like shopping outlet. And it was like clothes piled up like a mountain. And you just go in there and you climb in there and you pick whatever you want. And I'm like, wow, I've never seen anything like that. I guess I mean it's different for every country. Like you just step on piles of clothes and dig through
Like
it.
10 years ago, I was on a work trip in New York, and a group of us went to Chinatown, and
Mhm.
each person kind of had in their head what they wanted to find. And this lady I was with said she knew a place we could go to get knockoff Rolex watches. And one lady wanted like the Louis Vuitton handbag. And anyway, so we were walking down streets in Chinatown, and she knew how to find the guys that had the contraband, and we find these guys who literally had trench coats that they'd open up to have crap. And it just, I mean,
Yeah,
it was
because if
almost
you get
comical.
caught buying it, you go to jail.
Well, we went down to the subway, in a corner to get what we wanted. I got a Rolex knockoff at $35 and was completely thrilled with it for like 2 years, and now it doesn't work. But um,
Hey,
my
it worked
point,
for
my
2 years.
point is, along that walkway or whatever, it seemed like a lot of the merchants out on the sidewalk were going $5, $5, $5. And so the whole rest of the trip, when we'd be in meetings or the serious part of the job, we
Uh-huh.
to break up the tension, it'd be like $5. It'd be
$5.
$5. And even all these years later, when I've run into one or two of them, that's the connecting communication between us. Is our greeting is almost like $5, $5.
Yeah. Uh, my brother, he went to the Empire State Building, and you know how you go through the metal detector and stuff like that. So they scanned my brother, and they went across his head, and his head was going off.
Oh,
I was like, "What the heck do you got in your head?" He's never had like surgery or anything. And I
that's
need to
weird.
ask him. Yeah, I need to ask him
He
because he
has an
works at the
implant, maybe
yeah, like he works at the hospital. I say, "Hey, can you go to the one of those machines? What is it called? Um,
MRI or something.
MRI and see if you get like stuck to."
That is funny.
Anyway.
Do you know that show called Coast to Coast?
Uh-uh.
It's like a radio show about all things metaphysical, um, different hosts, and they always have guests who talk about like alien abduction and uh, weird things and astrology. Anyway, it's a very interesting show. Here it like starts at midnight, so it's a late show on the radio. And I think on YouTube you can put in Coast to Coast and get some of their episodes. But they talk a lot about implants,
Mhm.
like from an alien abduction when someone's asleep, and having something put under their skin to be monitored.
I believe that, to be honest. Um, I can't prove it, but I've had my own personal alien encounters. But yeah, I mean, did you see that thing recently in Vegas where those two tall aliens and the police? What do you think about that?
Well, I think they've always been here. I just think it's been a manipulation to try. The UFO is not, it's not unidentified. I think the government completely knows who they are and have been interacting with them for decades.
Mhm. Mhm. I just find it odd that why now?
Um, Pluto and Aquarius, the dawning of the age of Aquarius. That's all
Mhm.
things outer space.
Not like that. It's like the I want to say technology. Look how fast this thing with AI has like really like manifested. Like I have reason to believe that there's like some sort of, kind of like intelligence, that's been going around.
Yeah, I
And
know.
then it's like, in the system now.
Yep, 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 yep.
And speaking of that, I don't know, I'm looking at this card, but
Yes, Cancer. I have what does it seek a higher power?
and I say benefit of the doubt.
Oh,
That's why I was like,
that's kind of a stretch for
yeah,
Cancer.
look at this. Look, there's a lion that is, have a pair of scissors with a bandage on. Looks like I want to say Capricorn's knee. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, let me read this. It says, I believe in the basic goodness of other people and I give them a chance to show it. If they prove me wrong, that's on them. At least I can go to sleep knowing that I practice trust and forgiveness rather than fear and doubt. And later on, if I need to, I can always change my mind and retroactively judge them like it's my career.
I love those cards.
Oh my god. And then yours says seek a higher
Seek,
power.
seek a higher power, Cancer.
Hmm.
See another perspective on that thing.
Yeah, so I guess that's really good. So, Cancer, have you been really hard, like judging someone harshly? I mean, believe that somebody's doing good. Like, don't think that they're out to get you. Like, oh my God, like my knee hurts, but someone's here to like help you mend your knee, and you think that they're attacking you or something. And look, there's blood on the freaking lion's back over there, like they're hurt themselves.
Man, that's some serious conflict there.
Actually, that's not blood, it's a cross. I know it's blurry.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So Cancer, don't overthink it. And maybe it's the nerves, maybe Cancer can't handle like the energy. But it's okay because now we're going to talk about Leo.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I know, right? And the card fell on the floor. What's going on here?
Oh, goodness, Leo.
Wow, I have two cards that came out. Interesting. I have teamwork and curiosity.
Oh, goodness. I have mend a relationship.
Oh, another cross. Well, that's interesting. And that cross was on that lion's back.
I know. That's interesting.
Yeah, look at this. Okay. So it
Call the Red
says,
Cross.
so mend a relationship. Okay, so it says, I'm determined to be a good teammate in all of my relationships. If we disagree, I'll resist the urge to place blame and look for a way to solve the problem together. When we're a team, everything's a game. And when we're on the same side, nobody can lose. Okay. And then also we have curiosity. It says, meeting new people, I remember what a treasure trove of opinions, interests, and stories they are. But these treasures will only be unlocked if I embrace my curiosity. So I'll be curious if you are, if you'll be curious and you be interesting. Deal. Oh, okay. So work on your curiosity and mend a relationship. Maybe you kind of cut someone off, Leo. I don't know. Um,
So I'm a Leo, and I'll tell you what I'm thinking this applies to.
mhm.
I'm finding myself in a similar mindset and pattern in my work that I had in 2018.
Okay.
And it is a pattern or mindset of um, issues with authority, right? HR.
Mhm. Mhm.
I am very opinionated about how they should do their job and how they should do it better. And um, yeah, and so I'm like, it kind of was a revelation today that it's like, okay, this is my opportunity to um, have a different mindset than I had
So, yeah.
years
So
ago.
I didn't want to cut in, but when you put things on your resume and teamwork is one of them,
Right.
how are you presenting yourself to be a team player,
Yeah.
or are you just like
Right.
trying to like bypass that one?
Right. Or it's something prideful, it's something where I I perceive that they're disrespecting me,
Mhm.
and they're doing the best they can to the extent of the knowledge and experience they have.
Mhm.
I am much older and have seen so much crap. I just want to like sit them down and tell them what the real deal is.
Right.
But so 5 years ago, I walked out of that job. I've never walked out of a job. I didn't give a notice, nothing. I submitted resignation, gone.
Mhm.
So I'm 5 years older, and I'm like, I'm tired of moving around. I really, so now my mentality is kind of like, just, stay below the radar, let them be, and be quiet and let things just play out.
Mhm.
the way they are. Like, try not to get engaged with that emotion of that I think the way it should be. Leo can be very opinionated and hard-headed and prideful.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I think this is the opportunity for me to see the familiarity and be able to basically laugh at it, right?
Mhm.
Leos are a clown. We do like levity and a good sense of humor. So, laugh at it and then just focus on, the good things. And in both situations, the good thing is I really like the work itself. It's those authority figures and administrative types of structures that make me crazy because they're
Mhm.
nonsensical.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, just work on
yeah,
it.
yeah.
You'll be okay. Yeah.
They're the way they present, it's like they almost are asking you to not care, but then they hold you to a certain standard to where you have to care to be able to reach that standard. So it's a
Mhm.
mixed message, and mixed messages make me nuts.
Yeah, but now that you're 5 years older and
Yeah,
you've done that, been there and done that, you're like, "Nah, fuck it, just
yeah,
ride the wave."
yeah, yeah. How many more years do I have to do this?
It's like, I've already rode this rodeo before, like
Yeah, I'm buying that lottery ticket, you know. What's my other ticket out of here? I don't really
yeah.
want to walk away. What did JK say here? I got lost in a town with three other people, went to a store, spoke with a woman named Ruth, who told me she was the bee farmer's wife and everyone knew her in town. She also told me she loved Dove soap but couldn't find the Dove soap in the town, so she was living 2 weeks later. Okay, there's more to that story, I'm sure.
Oh, imagine being able to love yourself, whatever that looks like, authentic and raw. Grab a hold of self-acceptance to surrender in a natural flow of universal truth within. Oh, um, I don't know. Maybe I did miss something too. That's okay. So, moving on, we have Virgo.
Virgo,
Mhm.
worried little stressed out Virgo.
Yeah, it seems like Virgo's energy is getting better, to be honest, from what I've been reading on Virgo lately. So that's positive.
That's good.
Yeah, finally. I
Yeah.
think maybe it's because of the Pluto return.
Oh, here we go. Here's tough it out, Virgo.
Oh, tough it out. I think they've been toughing it out, right? Oh wow, look, we have compassion. That looks like Sag
Oh,
energy.
and that's a centaur.
Yeah. It says, I choose compassion over criticism. Walking a mile in other people's shoes reminds me they might be going through something tougher than I think. Like the shoes are too tight, or they're the kind of shoes that are too casual to be dressy and too dressy to be casual. Basically, I have no idea what they're dealing with privately. So I'll cut them some slack and be thankful for the shoes I've been dealt. Yeah, tough it out. Like, maybe you're too judgmental and, I mean, I guess the world doesn't revolve around Virgo. Like,
Okay. That is so interesting. Choose compassion over criticism
mhm.
because
Mhm.
Virgos tend to be too critical.
Yeah, all the time.
So here's the rest of the story. 2 weeks later, tried to find Ruth to send her Dove soap, but no one in town knew who she was, and no one knew the general store where I met her. So, like, JK, were you in like an alternate universe there? That's strange. I've had those kind of weird things happen, but you just keep moving forward.
It's kind of ironic because I was actually doing research on shower gels. And the thing that goes into shower gels is Castile soap. I'm not joking. Like, it's not Dove, but I can make some Dove soap. But
Yes.
I was just looking at how I could refresh some of the products that I have on my, SMI Beauty and Bath, for summer stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember for the longest time, people were asking me for a shower gel. And I just didn't have the time. I was so busy, I was making those bath bombs and I
I
didn't have
keep
time to
thinking
research it. So,
cucumber and mango and
well,
grapefruit.
yeah. So I was seeing that I was doing research, right? And so it was saying like a more eucalyptus, peppermint, like the some of the herbs that you're
Yeah.
mentioning to kind
Neat.
of yeah, to like, soothe, like, the summer, like, stuff. So,
Yeah.
we're kicking off, like you said, the summer solstice, and I was looking for, like, the best stuff to use and, like, lotions for the summer, and, yeah, some of those herbs that you mentioned were actually perfect
Interesting.
to go
Chamomile.
yeah, mhm.
Um, interesting.
I know, right? Everything's so connected.
It is. Well,
So
I didn't want to admit it, but I always use Dove soap.
my mom does too. That's her go-to soap. I like to use Whole Foods soap. Like I like the soap that makes my skin dry. I don't know if that makes sense. Like the glycerin type. I don't know. It's like glycerin, but it's more on the drier side where it takes out
Right.
all the oil. I
Right.
like that. Dove is like more soft and
Right.
nourishing and um but I like to I don't know, maybe it's because I have like combination skin.
Yeah.
And I only use soap in 2 areas.
Well, I know that I was in a salon years ago, and you probably already know this, but they had fresh grapefruit that they had chopped up. And when they were like giving your hands a treatment, they were using like an olive oil and grapefruit. And I
Mhm,
tell you that what it's some kind of is it glycolic acid in grapefruit? But it
mhm.
I mean it just like takes off all of that dead dry skin. And I mean for days after that my skin felt still really soft. So
Yeah,
there's something about grapefruit and skin that's really good.
yeah, there's vitamins, and I think, it's like whatever that acid that's in that grapefruit like, to me, grapefruit is like a medicine.
It is.
It's really
I have a
good.
hard time eating it without sugar.
This is the thing, like, as I was getting older, I love grapefruit, like pink grapefruit. I'll
Yeah.
sit there and eat it, me and Luna, she'll eat it too. Like, I was like, "Dang, girl, you want some?" And then she'll, like, like, eating chunks of it, and I'm like, "Damn, I never seen a dog eat grapefruit like that."
My dogs love watermelon.
I have not done it because, like, it's really expensive and they're tiny over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not
We'll sit
big.
outside and eat watermelon.
Mhm.
Not too much, boy. That, but they do like it.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of fun to sit with your dogs and feed them the same thing you're eating. So like you're all eating the same thing together.
Oh, yeah, Luna's acting like she has buffet. Like, she likes squash, you know?
I had some green beans the other day. I was telling my dogs tonight we're having green beans over the weekend.
Mhm. That sounds good. Like,
Yeah,
I gave, Luna basil, and she'll eat the basil stems. Like
nice.
chewing it up and like, "Is that good, girl? Like, is the basil good?"
I have an animal eating my tomato plants and I can't keep a cucumber plant in the ground. Something's eating it. I think it's groundhogs. I think our neighborhood has groundhogs.
You should consider doing, like, a raised bed.
Those are so expensive to do.
Well, you get some, like, like 2 by 4s, like, and then just
Have you
build
looked
you
at the
up.
cost of wood lately?
I'm
It's really
talking about scrap wood that you can find. You don't have any?
No.
Hmm.
I've
Well,
looked at raised bed kits, but they're just real expensive.
you can just go behind one of them shopping malls and say, "Hey, are you giving up that crate that, the
Yeah.
thing that, they just leave back there?" So,
Well, I ended up putting a little bed right at my back door, and it's done better because I don't think animals want to come that close to the house. But what I planted out, like 20 feet out, away, excuse me, I've dropped cards,
mhm.
were nipped off today when I was watering.
A good alternative that I've seen, like this gardener does, those big paint buckets, you know,
Yes,
yeah.
5 gallon
So
buckets.
yeah, the five-gallon buckets. He would grow like tomatoes and stuff, and then you could just, they're portable, and you
Right.
can move them around.
I
And so
found that.
yeah, so you could do something like that if you have some of
Yep.
those going around.
I grew tomatoes in 5 gallon buckets last year.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, then you
Mhm.
already know.
I was just trying to read this again. So we're on
Okay.
Libra.
Yeah.
Dearest wishes come true.
Oh, okay. And I have wisdom. So it says, with every relationship, I gain invaluable wisdom. I'm continually learning which qualities stimulate, support, and inspire me, and which ones make me want to cram a soup spoon in my ear and turn it slowly. Ooh. In that case, even failed relationships are actually successes. See how wise I sound? Wow. So maybe, Libra, I guess you're using your discernment and you have the wisdom now that whether or not whatever relationship that you're in, like whether it worked or not, um, it's okay, right? And and for you, I guess like whatever you want, it's gonna come true. But at least you learned something.
I think Libra is in a big manifestation window for, manifesting their dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Did you just have a light come on in your room?
No, why did it flicker?
Yeah, it looked like it.
Mm. Well, I know if I like, yeah, if I like move around and stuff, there might be like some fluctuations in the camera and stuff. I don't know.
Well, Libra, I think you're going to have a very good new moon,
Mm.
Gemini.
Yes.
Still.
So next we have Scorpio. I was about to say my washing machine is possessed.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Scorpio.
No. Possessed because it laughs in a very demonic way. It goes
Oh, that's so.
yeah, it sounds like a demonic old lady
A possessed
cackling.
washing machine.
Yes, and then I asked my son, I said, "Did you hear that? The washing machine is laughing." I was like, "Are the clothes okay?" Anyway,
That's funny.
yeah. I said our appliances are possessed in this house. Oh,
Oh, Scorpio, open mind.
okay, yeah, and I have open heart with giving. So that's interesting. So let me see. With the open heartedness, it says, I know that life and the people living it can be an absolute bummer sometimes, but I promise to not let unhappy chapters make me jaded. If I let negative experiences turn me sour, then the jerks win. So I'll move on with an open and hopeful heart, if only because I hate losing to jerks. That's actually really good advice.
Yeah.
And also, we have giving. I welcome the idea of give and take in my relationships, and I eagerly practice and the give part. By giving freely, I discover just how fun giving really is. Giving my time, care, and attention to someone actually else gives me good feelings, which makes me want to give even more. Wait a sec. Does this selflessness make me look selfish? Be honest. So, I mean, I guess, I mean, because I'm like, well, we always give. So I would feel that give without feeling like, you have to do it because it feels good,
Yeah.
you know?
And
And
keep an open mind. I think you were saying keep an open heart, and this is saying keep an open mind.
yeah, open your heart and your mind. And remember, I was doing like that whole therapy session about like the heart being closed off and like being more masculine rather than feminine. Well,
Yeah.
it's because we're overthinking. So if we can just let go of our mind
Yeah.
about how things are supposed to be,
Yeah.
you'll
Yeah.
be open
Yeah.
and give, because you want to, not because like you're supposed to. Okay.
Or we all know self-important people who give so they can talk about how they gave. um,
I mean, like, and also be receiving too. I mean, it's one thing to
yes.
give, but try not to over give because once you
Yes.
start crossing, like, the over part,
Right.
then
Boundaries.
yeah, you gotta know when you could do the give and take. Okay. Just saying, Scorpio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tortured soul.
Yeah, I know. Don't torture yourself, okay? Have a good time this weekend. So next we have Sagittarius.
So JK said, I followed her direction as a result, I avoided an accident that sadly resulted in fatalities. So isn't that an interesting quantum physics example?
Mhm. Yeah. Well, that's good.
I love when those things happen.
Mhm.
It's a refresher course in that there's more than meets the eye.
Yeah, we're all interconnected some way,
Oh, this
somehow.
is my favorite card.
What is it?
Sag. Cha cha cha. Cha
Oh,
cha cha. Cha cha cha.
I have two cards here, and one it says loyalty, and the other compliments.
Oh,
Hmm. Well, let's find out what this is. Okay. So I'm there for people I care about in whatever way they need me. Ride to the airport? No problem. Bail you out of jail? You bet. Go see your band again? Maybe. The point is, when I stand with them, I know I'm a part of something special. And to be honest, it doesn't suck to look around and remember they're standing with me too. So, yeah, I guess get moving, with your loyalty.
do the
And
cha cha cha.
yeah. And also we have compliments. And it says, I know how good it feels to get a compliment. So I give that gift to others. I'll find a nice compliment for everyone I interact with today, even if I have to think really hard about it, in which case I can follow up by complimenting myself for solving such a compliment puzzle. Wow, I'm skilled.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, give compliments to yourself and others. And also, Sag is the one that is always in motion, right? They're always moving
yeah.
around. And so, like, move forward to give compliments to others. And
Take
um,
some dance lessons.
yeah, I
Cha
mean, I
cha
see
cha.
here, like, there's like a couple here and also like
Yeah,
friends. So I
yeah,
really feel like this is a time for being social.
yeah. In my area, there's a whole slew of new dance studios that have opened up.
Hmm. I think that's nice. It's wonderful.
I know.
So get out there and put
Cha
on
cha cha.
your good shoes, your dancing shoes. All right. So
Do
next we have
the twist. Capricorn.
yeah, Cappy. Cappy needs to cha cha cha.
Yeah. I
They need
think
some.
Cappy's probably reprocessing some old stuff.
I know so. To me, I can't quite really think of it because I think we were talking about like where I was at around December time frame, if we're
Yeah.
going backwards. So I don't know. We'll see.
So I've got the birds and the bees and the fact of life.
Oh, as a matter of fact, situation.
Yeah.
Let's see here, Cappy. What is your energy here? Cleansing.
Oh.
Wow. Okay. So let's see. It says feeling bogged down by the weight of 1,000 thoughts, feelings, boxes of mystery, objects of lurking in your closets. Consider this a prescription to clean house, mentally, physically, literally, figuratively, and anything else that applies verbally. It's hard to make room for new connections and experiences when every bit of your emotional space is cluttered with psychic bric-a-brac. So enjoy a major guilt free flush out and do not worry. You can always find new psychic bric a brac in a metaphorical clutter section of Craigslist.
Oh. That's funny.
Well, Cappy, if you want to get busy, get cleaning. That's the fact of life.
Yeah.
Um, you know, the birds and the bees, right? I have some birds that live in my awning.
Yeah.
They come and yeah, they come out when I'm not on the balcony and stuff. And so yeah, I feel you. I feel like I did that cleaning last week though. I did.
Nice.
I cuz I was at like a point where I was in transition and I was like, shit, I need to like do something. What can I do? And I I I was like, I need to clean. And I did that, when I had other stuff, in my mind. So
Feels
yeah,
good.
it felt good, but I feel like I could do more. I actually put on the TV for the first time in years in the living room. Like getting into the habit of like, okay, I need to relax and watch TV.
Yeah.
I don't know. I tried something new. I was like, I don't even do that.
Nothing wrong with that.
No. But hey, it felt nice. So,
Yeah.
so
That was
now,
like me watching that race and sitting there going, why am I watching this?
mm-hmm. I'll have to look up that coast to coast thing that you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. They're on, they do episodes on YouTube,
Okay,
but
I'll
it's
check
on
them out.
radio. It's like AM radio. And
Uh-huh.
um, I mean, it starts way late at night. They'll have all kinds of guest speakers who a lot about astrology, a lot about Bigfoot sightings, Loch Ness Monster, uh, aliens and UFOs, all
I
kinds of,
wonder if they have a podcast,
yeah, I
if
think
they're on
that's
the
what's on.
radio.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I'll look them up because I like to listen to like background noise when I'm
I
doing
do
stuff.
too. Yeah.
So it'll be a
I
good.
I start listening to it at night and then I fall asleep. I never make it through because it goes to like 2 in the morning.
Yeah, I just like to hear people talk and it puts me to sleep.
Yeah.
Just
All
saying.
right, Aquarius. We have cut ties.
Mm. Oh wow, we have humility. Interesting.
Ah,
It says, I take a deep breath and release all of my desire to be right. Without right, what's left? A soft and pliable version of what's me, willing to make mistakes, hear the people's opinions, and try doing stuff a different way. In other words, I get to take a pretty sweet, all inclusive brain vacation.
I love it.
Yeah. Take a brain break, right?
A
Like,
brain break. Cut
just cut
ties.
the clutter in your mind and
Yes.
let's go on a vacation, a mental
Yes.
break. You don't need that.
Yes.
And plus, Aquarius is like being an air sign. So,
Yes.
like, you
Like
should be
Gemini.
able to take a break.
Yeah.
It's a no brainer.
Yeah.
Sorry. Just
No pun intended.
Right? So, last but not least, we have Pisces.
Neptune and Pisces squaring the Gemini new moon equals disorganization, and double check your facts and records and figures.
That might drive my brother crazy.
This
Um,
says pop the cork, which is basically celebrate.
and I have wisdom, which we pulled earlier. And this one says, with every relationship, I gain invaluable wisdom. I'm continually learning which qualities stimulate, support, and inspire me, and which ones make me want to cram a soup spoon into my ear and turn it slowly. In that sense, even failed relationships are actually successes. See how wise I sound.
I love it. Stick a
Yeah,
soup spoon in my ear.
in turn.
Uh-huh. Love it. Pop
So,
the
and
cork
you're
on
supposed
some kind of good concoction, whatever that might be for you.
That might be a drink, man. That's what that
Might be a
sounds like.
drink, yeah.
Oh, my relationship sucks. Oh, but hey, let's drink it and it'll be all right. Man.
Well, when I worked out of town last week, I was, at a really nice hotel, the really nice bar, and had no responsibilities. And I got a buzz on. First time in a long time. Felt great.
That was good.
Yeah.
Well, you deserved it, you know.
Yeah. It was no dogs to deal with, and just, a few steps away to the room, no driving to deal with. So I took advantage of it.
Mhm. Sounds like a Vegas vacation.
It was nice. Even
Mhm.
if it was just one night, it was nice. I
Mhm.
was sitting there thinking, it has been 20 years since I have sat at a bar in a hotel and spent the night. It's been 20 years. There's that 20-year mark again. Yeah.
So, what do you feel like that's something that you like to do more often?
Not in town,
Mhm.
but yeah, to
But
get
if you were
away.
to travel abroad, with that, is that something that you want?
Not abroad. I've been abroad. I There's too much locally and around and in the States to still see that I haven't seen. But I'm a homebody and I got my dogs. I'm not going to go but so far for so long. Those little one night jaunts are perfect.
Okay. I
Yeah.
got your answer.
I had to think it through.
Uh-huh.
I can't see myself going to a hotel in town and drinking at the bar.
No, not I wasn't talking about in town, but, like, let's say you go to, like, Cabo or, you
Yeah.
know, or because this is what I did last night. I know, I did a lot last night with my brain. So,
Yeah.
I wrote, like, another, kind of like a vision board.
Yeah.
It's about vacations. So I was like, I need to think about my vacation list again. So I got like I went to the website like a travel and leisure and I took like the top, places to go on vacation. Some of the stuff I already been like North Carolina was on there surprisingly. And so I was like, well, I've been there. What are the other places? And there were some exotic ones. Some of them were in Africa, which I know that I probably won't make to. But if I did have the chance, I do know some people in South Africa that I could probably say hi to. But yeah, some places in Africa are very beautiful from what I saw. But I was looking more towards like Mexico and what was it? Like, even China. Like, I never been to China. I don't think I'll ever go, but it looks so beautiful. So, I don't know. Who never knows, right? So I put it down and, the vision board that I have that I made with the Mod Podge and stuff. So I was thinking, whenever I feel called to see if I can get a matching whiteboard and do it all over again. But this time these are going to be, just vacations,
Destinations.
like
Yeah.
destinations that I want to go to and travel. And when I do this, think about, am I doing this alone or am I going to do this with somebody? So, yeah, I did a brainstorming thing. And so that's like another project that I wanted to work on. I already got a list, but I wanted to just reserve it because I want this to be semi permanent on my vision board.
Right.
I'm going to take my time to really think about these places, because on that small little piece, you can only fit so much.
Right.
And yeah. So, yeah, I was thinking about that.
I really am glad I traveled early in life because I have less and less energy and interest. I don't know. There's just, I mean, I know my neighbors just came back from France,
Mhm.
and I know people who are traveling internationally, but it'd be different. When I traveled in Europe, I was alone, and it was a sabbatical, and
And you were young, so it was
yeah,
carefree and, you didn't have a lot to worry about back
well, I
then.
was 30. I mean,
Mhm.
I guess it was my divorce sabbatical.
Okay, yeah.
But I also had family that took care of my animals and my work, my office.
Mhm.
So
You had more freedom.
I did. So now I keep thinking of all the places that, are so close. Well, not, I'd like to
Well,
go to Grand Canyon.
let's just paint a picture, okay? In a perfect sense where you knew who could take care of your lovely animals, right?
Yes.
And you didn't have anything to worry about, like all expenses paid trip, and you had the opportunity to go. Would you go?
Yes. And I'm thinking of cute little cabana boys
Mm,
with umbrellas in my drink next to
yeah,
the seaside.
that's what I was thinking too.
What's that place? South America. Um,
I had a few places, so Machu Picchu, Isla Mujeres, Tulum. I wanted to go there. Um, you know,
I
um,
always want to say Corks and Cock. What is it?
Turks and Caicos.
Caicos. Yeah,
Mhm.
I had a friend go there on a scuba diving
Mhm.
excursion. Loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would go. Yeah, I wanna, like, travel and stuff and, like, even Bahamas, I saw that on a list.
Yeah,
As much as, like, how gimmicky it is, like, I've never been, but yeah,
I've
I'll
never
go.
been.
Yeah,
I
I've never
looked
been.
into going to the Bahamas a couple of years ago and actually got a lady's name who owns a condo there because they talk about, you know, like you go on these different websites and you look for places to stay and read all the reviews, and they're kind of all over the map. So,
Mhm.
like knowing how to pick the place. Um, What's that one down there? It's called the Atlantis. It's a
Yeah, it's like a
resort.
double, building, it has, like,
Yeah,
a bridge. Mm.
yeah. That's what sparked my interest. I entered a sweepstakes that was a trip to the Atlantis. So then
Oh,
I started looking around and I was like, how in the world do you ever choose where to stay? Because I don't
I
know,
think
the
I
reviews were all over the place.
So this is the thing. I saw an article of this one girl, and she said that she used ChatGPT to travel with a budget,
Oh,
and it gave her all the recommendations, and she followed it, and it turned out nice, where it was under budget or in budget, and she was able to enjoy herself. So it was actually a positive experience. So If all else fails and you needed a little assistance, at least ChatGPT can help you. You know.
Well, I've never not had a good travel experience.
Mhm.
You know, I have always had, easy flights and connections and, hotel accommodations or people, but I've never been to like one of these like island resorts.
Mhm. Mhm.
I've never been on a cruise. Um, I've been to Florida a lot, which is, that southern part of Florida is very island like.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's a lot to still see for sure. But it is the money and the planning and that's
Well,
the burden.
that's the thing. It's inexpensive.
Yeah.
I mean, especially I was looking down in South America. Man, those really nice hotel rooms, they go for like 40 to 60 bucks a night. And I'm like, man, in the United States, that'll go for like, 150 to 300. And this is out on the water.
Well, and Dominican Republic is a place where I've known several people like go there regularly. I mean, like that's like their go-to place because they love it so much.
Yeah, my ex-boyfriend was going on a trip there because of the company. And he was telling me about like the hookers and
Oh,
stuff.
really?
I said, "Are you gonna go?" I said, "I don't want you to go." He's like, "I don't wanna go either. Like, I don't wanna get a disease." Like, cause he's, like, very germophobic, and I was like, "Well, I hope you don't wanna go." Like, "No." He's like, "I'll make sure I won't. I'll see if my boss won't send me." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I don't want you to go." So after, like, hearing about that, I have mixed feelings about Dominican Republic.
Well, and my boss recently came back from Argentina. And
Mhm.
years ago, when I was real into dance, I ordered authentic Argentine tango dance shoes from
Oh. Mhm.
Buenos Aires. And I mean, it took months to get them. They custom made them and shipped them, and through customs, it probably took 6 months to get these shoes.
Mhm.
And I was telling him about how, Argentine tango it was part of their culture. It was not just like, a recreational dance, but back in the 30s and 40s, this is how people kept in shape so they could run, if they needed to run during all these different revolutionary wars they've had.
Mhm.
And so
Oh, they're doing it fun.
he came back and I was like, well, because he went on a some sort of hunting excursion.
Mhm.
And when he came back, I said, well, did you go to, what are they called? Um, Malonge. So those are like the nightclubs where all you do is tango. And I mean, there's a whole culture to that. And
Mhm.
it's where like young men dance together before they're allowed to go in the malonge to dance with a woman. Like they have to know how to lead and do the dance before they can show up. So there's a whole history to it. And I asked him, he said, well, please tell me that you learned to tango while you were there. And he said, no, but they were all in the streets doing it.
Uh-huh. That's
So,
good. I
yeah,
like that one. Man, tango with somebody.
yeah.
Wow.
Argentine tango, a little different than American tango.
Mhm. Yeah, with a little
Little kick.
little close get a little close there. Mhm.
Yeah, little walk. It's a walking dance is how they describe it.
Yeah.
Um, Someone I know recently came from Spain and had a great time. I've always wanted to go to Spain.
Yeah. I mean, I have some, clients that, live in, I guess, Portugal, which is next door.
Yeah.
So, like, if in case that were to happen, if I travel abroad, then yeah.
You have another place to stay.
Yeah. Well, this is in what's that one? It's an exotic place. It's Ibiza. So if you know about Ibiza, it's like this. It's a big yachting community. It's on the water and it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
So yeah, I there's so many places in the world that I haven't seen that I want to see. I've always wanted to travel the world with someone to go to these places. Now that my boys are,
Yeah.
they're
Well,
graduated. Like, Ethan has one more year of CTP, and then I can really
do
retire.
what
Like,
you
not,
want.
yeah, like not really retire, but like at least be my adult self.
Right.
And we can go to Australia, JK. That's
Well,
another
that's a
place.
long flight.
Well, I mean, for me, I'm closer to Australia, I believe.
It's
Um,
like a 24-hour flight between the time change and
I know that we would have to fly to Hawaii and then go down to Australia from there, I believe.
I'd like to go to Hawaii.
Hmm. Yeah, I've been there through the airplane, not to like vacation. So yeah, that's another place that I haven't really explored. So yeah, so many places that I haven't been.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I guess I've been waiting for that one person to travel the world with.
Maybe you have to travel the world to meet them.
Maybe, but yeah, we'll see. I have one more year. After that year, it really depends on where I'm at. So I'm just open, going with the flow. Who knows, right?
I traveled for a month between England and the Greek islands with one carry on bag and a tote, right? And this
Mhm.
old woman that I knew who traveled all over the world gave me this tip, and I'll pass it along. Take all of your oldest, crappiest underwear and t shirts, and on your last night before you're coming home, you can trash them, leave all of that behind, and you've made room for the things that you've picked up along the way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or you could be like my friend. She went to the Sherlock Holmes, like, I guess, it's like a
Museum.
no,
Oh.
it's a Sherlock Holmes, like, they sell, like, a luggage. They
Uh,
have, like, their own brand, and, this was in Edinburgh, in England, and she's like, "Oh my god, I have so much stuff, I gotta buy another suitcase to bring back home," and so that's what she did. So she got her another luggage, and, yeah, she didn't throw her stuff away, she packed on another bag and paid extra for it.
right. I like to travel light, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're, like, on the go, really all you want is, like, one of those small, like, luggages, not the big one, like, maybe
The
a carry-on.
carry-on size.
Yeah, like, even a book bag, like, I would settle for, like, a backpack
Yeah.
and just a small little, like, luggage. I have a cute one, that I always use, but it's enough for, like, maybe a week tops, which
Yeah.
would be enough, especially if they have, like, laundry service or something.
I have this little travel clothesline.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it expands and it has these little clips, and you can wash
Oh,
out your stuff and hang it up.
mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, in those beach resorts, they have, like, this thing that pulls out. So
Yeah.
I would actually use those to, like, dry, the towels and stuff,
Yeah.
or, like, put it out on the balcony, but, you have to clamp it down with something so it won't fly away. So,
It will come, everything in divine timing.
mhm.
And
I am ready to vacation. I think I was telling my friend that a lot of people, they want to, like, think about what they wanna be in life, and I think we're at that age where we've already been there and done that. I wanna retire, damn it. I wanna travel. I don't wanna work hard anymore. I just wanna
that's
do
that whole
minimal
trend.
effort and, like, enjoy myself.
They're like slowly quitting. people slowly quitting because they've recognized that no how much you give to the company, it doesn't matter. It's not
Mhm.
like it gets anything extra for you.
No, you can only do so much, and then now with AI coming on board, like, who knows, like, how much, AI is gonna take on and, you
So
know
here's the Leo packed house, 10th house profession. It's always been about career and profession for me. I heard this a long time ago and I believe it. If you love your work, then you're always on vacation.
Mhm.
So seeking out things that you really love doesn't make you feel as, lacking of taking vacation or, you know, needing that sense to get away. When I interviewed for this job, my boss is very close to retirement. And I said, I've never thought about retiring. I love my work. I don't have I mean, what am I going to do if I retire? I just need to stay active and viable in my own brain. And he was like, I don't love my job. So, everybody's different. You just got to figure out what it is for you that makes you feel good.
I can tell you share my parents' experience because they are retirement.
Yeah.
So, as you know, they're in Korea right now, and, the rent there is like 250 bucks a month,
Wow.
and electricity is like 20 some bucks, and food is really cheap, and so they're living on like a dime, like a
Yeah.
really good budget. So their thing is that, they're gonna stay in the place that they're at, but if the whole family decides to travel to Korea, then they would actually get a bigger apartment or something bigger to, house all of us, and so her idea was to, just stay there for X amount of months, come back to United States about 2 or 3 months, and then go back. And they're enjoying it, and so for them to be active, they
Right.
they walk, there's a walking course, and they walk about 2 miles every day, and then they enjoy fruit. Like, they have so much fruit. I mean, melons, watermelon, like, strawberries, like, they have everything, and then, they eat a lot of fruit, and then, they visit, like, their old friends, and well, at least my mom, and then, yeah, do shopping and just, like, I don't know, I guess retire, like, they're not working, they're constantly busy. I mean, they do go to the hospital to check in and stuff, they do that. But other than that, like, they're enjoying it. I
I
don't
can see if you had a companion and a partner,
Mhm.
how much easier that would be. But, you know, um, everybody's different and needs different things. So it's just finding out what that is for yourself.
Well, I think I like that, so the way that my mama is doing it is that she has commercial real estate or commercial property, and so, as, she's
As like a
getting
passive income.
yeah, as the money's flowing through, she can, like, be on vacation and the money's in the bank.
Right.
So that's gonna be one of my goals. Like, my time isn't up yet. I mean, I still have a lot of juice left in my belt, so I'm working towards that myself. So, like,
I had these clients that I always loved when they needed us. They bought up different patches of land in an area on the water over a course of years. They're still around. They
Mhm.
have 7 children and 22 grandchildren.
Wow.
And so they would find these little bungalows nearby. And so they retired. And I have visited them before COVID. I haven't seen them since COVID, but uh, they live in a place that's like living on vacation every day. It
Mhm.
overlooks a body of water. They have a boat. The home is beautiful, and it's like, that's really. perfect. And then they have all these little bungalows nearby that as their kids and grandkids want to come and stay or take vacation, they're kind of all in the same little community. They're not right on top of each other, but they're all nearby. And but their common interest is fishing.
Mhm.
That's their pastime. They like to get out on the boat and fish. And so when I was visiting there, I've known a couple of people that where they live is like a resort or a vacation type of home. It's on the water, it's really pleasant. So
Mhm.
they are facing a lot of health problems right now. They're like, I think they're probably right about 80.
Okay, yeah.
They've been retired a good 10 years.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I mean, we keep in touch by phone, but she's had a lot of surgery and stuff. And so, they really haven't felt up to company. And when I would go there, we'd go out to eat and go out on the boat. And so she's been kind of limited the last year or two, but um, I think that would be perfect if your home was like your vacation.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I
if you
agree.
like water,
Oh,
then
I
have
love
warm
water.
water. And or if you want to be in, like, I was seeing these places, they're like luxury tree houses in the
Mhm.
mountains. Have you ever seen those?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of neat.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah. So, yeah.
we just put it down, make it detailed.
Well,
And
Imma work on my vision board, like, a second one. Like, I'm still, like, halfway through on my first one, as far as manifesting, but
yeah,
I wanna manifest new things too,
this
you
is
know?
a good energy to do that for the next couple of weeks. And then our next lunation is Capricorn full moon on July the 3rd. So
Mm.
right at Independence Day.
Wow, that's wonder what that's all about.
Capricorn full moon.
Mhm.
Culmination of hard work. So what you set your intentions to now on the new moon, by the full moon culminate. So Gemini to Capricorn would definitely be in that bucket of communications, publications, um, any kind of, like herbology, gardening, that kind of field.
Mhm.
Um, Writing, you know, uh, maybe starting something freelance as a side income, with the intention of it becoming your full-time work. But, certainly Gemini and Capricorn deal with work through communications and circulating information.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's right up my alley. That's why I'm, like, exploding with ideas and
Yeah,
stuff, and
research work. And
mhm.
yeah.
But I'm gonna take it easy, and, tomorrow, I'm gonna start a new day.
Well, and tomorrow is when Saturn goes retrograde, and Saturn rules Capricorn. So
Mhm.
that will, I think, slow down that Capricornian drive to work all the time.
Mhm.
Capricorn is considered the workaholic. The ruling signs, stopping to go retrograde, that generally brings a delay, so using that energy to do more relaxation and planning is a real good way to do that energy.
Well, that sounds good. I hope I can. Cause I have, like, so many ideas, but I know when I get down to it, I'll probably just sit on the couch and watch some TV.
You'll be okay too. You deserve a break. um I know that's a Monday because July 4th falls on a Tuesday this year. And I put in to take off from work on that Monday because they weren't giving it off so that I could have a long weekend.
Oh, at least you got your calendar situation right. You got
Yeah,
the
yeah. I have a few days coming up off, doing some dog shows next week and taking off, and then 4th of July. So, yeah, I've been
Okay.
trying to get my house straight and this HVAC system that got installed and all the little tweaks that follow, and had some plumbing issues. So, there's been a lot of maintenance work around the homestead.
Well, I guess like if you needed to do something, at least
Talk about well, this was so wild. I do live in the suburbs, but it's pretty close to the city. And this house a block away had 5 goats in their yard. And
what?
they were actually in the city. And I was like, I don't think the city allows goats. And there were 5 big, they were big goats, not the little pygmy ones. And
Uh-huh.
um, not a huge yard. And I was like, gosh, is that okay? I wasn't sure how I felt about it because it was kind of a small area for so many goats. And so it ends up there's this company that basically rents out their goats. This house had been I don't I don't really understand the people that live there. They just let their yard kind of go all natural. We're kind of in the woods anyway, so it wasn't
Well, the
too.
goats are eating the grass up, so they don't need a lawnmower.
They rented them. They're gone now.
They
But for
rented the goats.
yes, to come
So
and eat.
they did it to let them eat the grass and do.
Well, it was all these weeds. It was real grown over. And it's a company that does this. And you wouldn't believe how the yard looks now. It's amazing how those
Oh,
goats ate all of the vines and weeds and overgrowth.
so they stayed there until it was gone.
It was only like 4 days. It was really, it was, I was like, what a cool idea. It's a great alternative to the pesticides. And
What if one of them goats jumped the fence? Then what? Did they take accountability for them
well,
goats?
every time I rode by there, they were just chilling. I mean, they didn't look like they were,
Moving around.
yeah, they were laying down or just eating. And
They're
a
just living
wire.
there rent free, just eating up.
I wouldn't be surprised if the fence was maybe electrocuted, maybe. I don't know. But they didn't look like they were trying to get out. And
Mm-hmm.
now, but I mean, it's an amazing transformation of the yard.
How?
Amazing. And because they had the prior owners had a tree cut down and left all of these huge trunks of the tree just stacked up, and then ivy grew all over it and just a
Mm-hmm.
lot of vines. And so these new people that moved in, the first thing they did was they had all of these tree trunks hauled off, and then they were left with all of this brush. And they brought in these goats, and these goats now it looks like a normal lawn. It's the weirdest thing.
I believe it, but I would like to see that.
That's really cool. I meant
Mm.
to take some pictures, and then they were gone. The goats were gone. I thought the new people were going to have pet goats or something, and maybe do goat's milk and all that.
Uh-huh.
But
Oh, I
it was
remember you telling me about, like, because of the, I was talking about the, soaps, goat soap.
right. Yeah, goat's milk soap.
Mhm.
And um but now they're gone. And it ends up it was a company that you know um rents their goats to clear brush.
Mhm.
I thought, what a great idea.
Who else eats grass?
Well, horses, I guess, mules.
Mm. But the goat would eat it faster than any of them.
Yeah, cows eat grass.
Mhm. But imagine have a cow in the backyard. Chickens eat freaking grass.
Yeah, Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
I was at a greenhouse not long ago. It's just a little family run place. And next thing I know, there's this huge chicken walking around. I was like, oh, hi. And then the lady goes, yeah, that's Ruby. And then there's another chicken. I forget her name, but they just had chickens wandering around.
I had pet chickens before, and
Yeah.
we lived in the city, and I guess it passed ordinance because we got from one of those tractor companies and stuff where they
Yeah.
like feed. And but anyways, yeah, we had chickens and a rooster, and the rooster got it all twisted. They That thing would cockle doodle doo like 5 in the morning and 5 in the afternoon.
Oh my.
And I know that the neighbors were probably like, they want to kill that chicken, because we wanted to kill the chicken. And eventually, my family, they did end up killing them chickens to eat, but I couldn't get myself to do it.
Yeah.
Like, they were raised in the country, so they know how to shuck the chicken. And
Yeah.
I remember when I was little, and they put the chicken in a hot like water, and they did that.
To
And
get the
then they
feathers off.
oh god, that was like one of those horror shows.
Traumatic. Yeah.
I was like, wow, I'm not eating that chicken. It's like, is that what we're eating? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. And I said, in Korea we eat the feet too. I was like, you can enjoy. I'm not having dang chicken feet, okay?
Our
It's good
neighborhood.
collagen. She said it was good collagen.
Oh, we've been overrun with groundhogs. So I've
Mhm.
been reading about groundhogs and how important they are to the ecosystem, that they have very complex tunnel systems. And I mean, I think I had like a mother and two pups like walking down the driveway the other day. And this one was coming out from under a barn while I was cutting grass. And he was just like sitting there watching me cut the grass. So it made me start reading about them because I was like, are they, do they get rabies? Is it normal for them to be out during the day? And they're perfectly harmless to humans. They have a life expectancy of about 3 years. And when they are gone, that complex tunnel system makes shelter for rabbits and fox. And so, yeah, you can be like out on the road walking your dogs and down, watch this huge groundhog that's bigger than one of my dogs just cross the road. It's the weirdest thing. It reminds me of that movie Caddyshack, where they're
Mhm.
all over the
Well, that thing looks more animated and
yeah. But I mean, they're like always popping their heads up out of a hole in the ground and anyway, so one of the neighbors recently, because I mean the population has definitely grown. What started out to be one or two, now there's like families of them.
oh wow.
And this old guy, he's like, well, I used to know people that would eat them. I was like, oh, gross. I can't imagine eating groundhog. Oh, that just sounds horrible.
That is nasty. No one wants
They're
to eat
kind of
that.
cute, actually.
Yeah, that's why
They're
I
in
thought.
the dog family. They're like in the prairie dog family. Yeah.
They just got big front teeth.
And kind of a weird long tail, not quite like a beaver, but kind of, a tail that drags behind it like a beaver's does. And this one the other day, I mean, he was sitting, I'm on a lawnmower and he's under the barn, just like his head's up, and he's just like watching me. And then when I got a little far away, he'd come out and sit right in the middle of the yard. And I'd get a little closer and he'd dive back under. It
I
was the
think I
weird
think they're more intelligent than we think
thing.
that they are. I mean,
Well,
just
he's
like
been
dogs.
eating all the cucumber plants.
Yeah, he's
He ate
smart.
this, yeah, he ate the celery. Um, I had deer come through last night. They ate all the hosta, a rose bush. I've got tomato plants that have been nipped off. So I'm having a hard time with the vegetables this year, but
Because
it's
all the
okay.
animals are taking it.
It's okay. I I've planted cucumbers twice now and bought some seed the other day to try to bring some on from seed because the plants that I find aren't don't look all that great.
Mhm, mhm.
So might have some late cucumbers.
No, I did that one year, and mine were late, and then it got cold, and so it kinda missed the whole mark.
Yeah.
For, like, the really good, like, summery season,
Yeah.
and so I was kinda bummed out on that. But, like, here, it got, like, 66 degrees. It was cold, then it warmed up to, like, 73, and now it's probably cold again.
It's
And
weird. I mean, for the tomatoes and things to do well, the ground needs to be warm. And we've had like a long, cold spring. So I
mhm,
don't know how much will ultimately come out of it. I did, I mean, the celery is starting to come back from where they nipped it off.
mhm.
And so anyway, what are you going to do? That's the risk you run when you put plants out there in the ground for the wildlife to snack on. So
I don't know how the farmers do it. That's how they get their shotguns, and
yeah, yeah.
"You get on out of here."
My neighbor talked about putting up a scarecrow for the groundhogs. I said, I don't think that'll work on them.
Mhm. I
they
think they're
seem
smart.
pretty. They seem pretty organized.
Mhm. Yeah. They're like, "Oh, what's that? That's new. Okay, well, let's just go on over to the next thing, you know?" Yeah, I don't think the scarecrow's gonna do nothing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's been an interesting year, a different year for the garden, but that's what gardening's all about, right? You get something different every year and you get
Well,
to
that's how
start
you
over next time.
Mhm. Learn as you go.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah, let me know. So, let's see here. Is there any questions? Let's see. Is there any questions that people have here in the chat for Sunny? And again, if you guys are interested in booking a reading with Sunny, you can head on over to linemountainhealing.com. Let's see here and do this one. And also, she has an Etsy shop if you guys are interested, Line Mountain Relics.
Yeah, getting rid of old relics.
I saw on Etsy that they have this whole thing like with the vintage. Um,
Yeah.
so they're pushing vintage out around this time. So who knows? I mean, we might get
I
some.
was excited. I sold some dishes to Croatia
Mm-hmm.
and
Did it arrive nice? Like, do
as
you
far
know?
as I know, I haven't heard different. It was going to be like 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
It was an adventure just getting it shipped off because one post office actually told me we're not trained to do that. And I took it
Okay.
to another post office. Yeah. So I keep meaning to look at that, but I would hear if it didn't make it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was my first international shipment.
Well, yay.
Had to be glass of all things.
Well, I mean that's the thing, we have to learn through as
Yeah.
we go. So,
Yeah.
okay. So, anybody else have a question for Sunny before we get on out of this
We'll have
chat?
a Capricorn full moon to talk about in a couple of weeks and just roll with the flow with the Gemini new moon. Things are really kind of shifty and quick and unorganized and fuzzy, and so it's a good time just to kick your feet up and don't get too upset about the chaos.
Yeah, if you're not on schedule or on task, it's gonna be okay because I'm
Yeah,
gonna be one of them.
yeah. Maybe we're supposed to look at a schedule a different way.
Yeah, I realized that this week. I gave up. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna relax, but I couldn't with my mind. So that's where the list came handy. So now I have a list of
Yes,
things to work on as I'm sitting and watching TV or listening to stuff. So it's okay. I can handle that.
it's interesting,
Hmm.
but especially like practice laughter, just have to laugh when you're feeling yourself get frustrated or upset. Just try to laugh, and you know, the only thing permanent is change. So it will not be that way for long.
Yeah. I mean, I think for most of us, we're all going through something difficult, right? Like what that one card said, you never know what shoes that they're wearing, or if they might
Right,
have it harder than you. You never know.
right.
So, just be thankful for how things are, and this too shall pass.
Yes, all this sage wisdom as Saturn gets ready to station retrograde tomorrow.
I guess slowing down to the cold Capricorn energy that's coming
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Well, let's see. Saturn has actually been in Pisces. Yeah.
Mm,
So, yeah, definitely a time for relaxation and dream boards. And I don't know. I keep thinking of that drink, the fuzzy navel. I think it's peach schnapps. My
yeah,
mother
that sounds good.
My mother had a sister, and every time my father hated her because every time she visited, she brought a bottle of peach schnapps. My mother was not a drinker, and her sister would get her drunk, and then she would just get sick.
Mhm.
But
That sounds
uh,
good.
they used
I'm
to
getting
laugh it
curious
up
too.
about fuzzy navels, I think is the name of the drink.
Mhm, mhm.
Actually, this would be a good time to just sit and contemplate the fuzz in your navel now that I think about it.
In the name of gross. So, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna relax. That's more my cup of tea.
Yeah.
So, okay. So if nobody has any questions for Sunny, I guess we can cut off here.
We'll
So
sign
thank
off for
you.
now, and just try to be light in your spirit through this lunation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're all gonna be doing. So
And thank you for your time, and thank everybody for coming to the chat. And you know, we'll keep on keeping on.
yes, and until next time, we'll see you.
Yes. All right, now you take it easy.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.